What's up everybody, welcome to Money Management channel. My name is Andrei and today I'm gonna be doing an update on MMTLP and FINRA saga.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up.
And guys, for today's video I have several very interesting news. First of all, I will show you and I will prove you how complicated the MMTLP story is. On top of that, I will show you some updates from 1209 cases, and I will show you the most thorough due diligence on one of the most recent updates in one of the 1209 cases. And before we dive deep into all of these, guys, please hit the like button for YouTube algorithm and drop me a line in the comment section if you think my videos are valuable for you. On top of that, if you want to know more about technical analysis, if you want to enhance your trading skills, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel and to join my Patreon account. And guys, I'm recording this part of the video on June 28th, and within less than a week I will close some of cheap member tiers. And let me show you just a sneak peek on the most recent call that I made just 2 days ago. You know that yesterday on Friday's session on June 27th, Coinbase lost substantial amount of its value. And I made this set of posts the day before on Thursday. You can see it right here. It is June 26th, Thursday, June 26th of this year. And this top I caught to the tick. I made it for my patrons, and the major sell-off happened the very next day on Friday. And guys, you can see that I made a perfect call, and it is not the only call that I made. You can find other similar achievements in the pattern articles, and that is why, guys, if you want to be a part of this community, feel free to join my Patreon, because within next several days you will not have these lucrative prices. So, and let's begin today's video with this tweet that was written by Next Wave EFT, and it says, quick Orogrande update for the MMTLP folks who are still looking for answers. As a reminder, NextBridge lost their 130,000 acre lease that has 4 billion barrels as stated by CEOs Burda and McCabe. 12 months later, nobody in the industry has leased those acres, because as warned, it was a scam. And guys, I have to admit that it is quite indicative statement, and if this statement is real, if no one has leased those acres, this means, well, something is wrong with Orogrande Basin, with NextBridge position that C-level executives stated back in the days. And one of the main questions is following: did they know, I mean John Burda and George Palikros and Greg McCabe, did they know in 2021 and 2022 that Orogrande Basin and these leases are worthless? And if so, guys, definitely it raises more questions to their position. But let me show you very important update from Next Wave that he added a little bit later. And just a follow-up to this to get ahead of the comments. This doesn't disprove the trading and share count theories or people are hanging onto. This is a piece of information that shows the leaders of the business who are playing the corporate welfare stuff of frauds. And yes, guys, we have a very complicated problem in MMTLP case, because on the one hand, potentially it was a pump and dump actions from the C-level executives and from the people who were allegedly hired by these people in order to attract more attention to this company, and in order to basically financially benefit out of this. And the second problem is the actions that were made by authorities, by FINRA in particular, back in 2022 and a little bit earlier, when the MMTLP became tradable. their, I would say, actions or inactions that happened right after and right before the U3 halt implementation. And this is two separate cases, but they are extremely close one to another. And that is why, guys, if we want to see the resolution, if we want to find the truth, definitely it should be, well, we cannot have partial justice in this case. We have to see the total justice in this case, which will allow MMTLP shareholder to benefit, to at least cover your damages one way or another. And one of the most promising paths how we can do it is definitely litigation processes. And in a minute I will show you the most detailed update on one of the litigation processes. But first of all, I want to pay attention to this tweet that was written by Daniel Spears. She is also a part of so-called 1209 community, and she also has an active case that she filed as a pro se plaintiff. She wrote, "I am the first to admit that when I made my first trades, I didn't know anything. I had no training, no background, and no business navigating complex securities. That doesn't mean I deserved what happened, because MMTLP never should have happened. Period. End of story." Where the F was the SEC. They interviewed a whistleblower in 2018. What came of it? Nothing. They approved the reverse merger anyway. How about the fraud radar alert on November 29 of 2021? What happened with that? Right, nothing. They stood by and watched MMTLP not only trade, but they watched short sellers load MMTLP with so many synthetic shares, it's egregious. The SEC sued TRCH stock promoters after the fact while they watched them promote the living shit out of MMTLP. What should be promoted and then take action? That's not just negligence, that's abandonment of duty. And guys, she mentioned about the synthetic shares, and some people might still argue that there were zero counterfeit short positions in MMTLP. But in my opinion, it is not a real information, because from FINRA itself, they stated that it was 2.65 million shares shorted during the spin-off period. On top of that, let me show you this FOIA. Wait a second, I will show you somewhere here. Here is the tweet that was published by Nicholas Raya 16 hours ago. He wrote, "Good morning, MMTLP community," pointing out here the highlighted portion of this email titled FINRA Rule 6440 sent by SEC legal counsel. Proof the halt was a result of massive amounts of counterfeit shares. Get it? They highlighted settlement and clearance. And guys, this is a very interesting portion of this FOIA letters, and the highlighted information is following. FINRA has determined that an extraordinary event has occurred or is ongoing that has caused or has the potential to cause significant uncertainty in the settlement and clearance process for shares in MMTLP. And guys, it is not, well, it is, yes, it is the part of FINRA's notice that they published on December the 9th. But at the same time, guys, if it wasn't any extraordinary events that happened back in the days, why would they publish this information again one more time in their interactions between one part of basically between SEC and FINRA? It means that yes, something substantial happened, and this was the reason of the U3 halt implementation. So, let me quote you further the tweet of Daniel Spears. She added, "Short selling is ludicrous. It's theft in broad daylight and everyone knows it, but new retail investors. But don't worry, they will learn their lesson the hard way too, because our regulators have no intention of offering transparent markets where everyone has the same rules, is held to the same expectations, and where everyone is held accountable when they break the law. The fines are a joke. If I could pay a $10,000 fine to make $10 million while the SEC smiles at me repeatedly, I would do it. I would do it too. Saying naked short selling is illegal is like saying you can't rob a bank, but if you do, you've got 2 days to give the money back before anyone checks. Or, and by the way, don't worry, no one checks. Clearly, no one guesses about naked shorting. If they did, there wouldn't be an FTD list, which is also a joke. And don't come at me with market mechanics, because I openly admit I don't know anything, but what I do know and what I've learned the hard way is that either no one is allowed to trade without a serious 7, so that everyone has a fair shot and everyone understands all rules that don't really exist, or at least not for certain people. Or we raise our expectations and require the regulators to actually hold everyone accountable and not just the few who can't run as fast. And we outlaw shorting, period. You're whip smart, obviously have a high degree of education in the markets, so I'm certain you can school the crap out of me. If that's what you feel is important here, you do you. Everyone else knows that's not the point. And guys, this statement, this tweet perfectly explains the position of Daniel Spears in her litigation process. Because, to be honest, it is extremely difficult, it is extremely hard to file a lawsuit as a pro se plaintiff. And all of these 1209 community members are doing this. And definitely they make mistakes. Let me show you, wait a second, let me show you one of these type of mistakes that was made just recently. So, in the most recent lawsuit, Kelly versus FINRA. And here is the docket, the latest update minute order. And it says, minute order in chambers of the Honorable Magistrate Judge Daniel J. Alberts on July the 20th of 2025 in regards to the request of judicial notice under Nevada local rule. All communications with the court must be styled as a motion, stipulation, or notice. Plaintiff's request is thus not properly filed and the court strikes it. And guys, this means some MMTLP community members who file their lawsuit definitely can make this type of mistakes, but it doesn't mean that it is easy path to the real results. And let me show you another quite important update. So wait a second, it was right here. First of all, I want to pay attention to the tweet that was written by Scipio. And Scipio is nothing else but William Kelly, who filed a lawsuit against FINRA. And just yesterday I showed you his call to action that if you have your story in written format, please send this story to Scipio, because his lawsuit is, well, it is quite different than any other lawsuits because he requested the jury trial. And with these letters, he can, well, he can enforce his position and he can achieve the removal of the immunity, of FINRA's immunity. But for some reasons, guys, only 4 letters were sent to him, and he wrote this: I've only received 4 letters. Is that all the MMTLP community can offer? I think I'll be lucky to even get 10 at this rate, let alone 100. So guys, if you have another call to action from me personally, if you have your story or want to help Scipio, and guys, you don't have much time, because just yesterday I showed you that the clock is ticking. And wait a second, I will show you how much time do you have. Well, I believe it is not more than just 2 weeks. Yesterday I showed you this info. That is why, guys, please help him and send him your MMTLP story. And for now, guys, one of the most important part of today's video, and it is quite lengthy but extremely interesting, I would say, because I took a sneak peek on this thorough due diligence on the most recent update of Contic-Wilcott lawsuit, and it was made by Roman Soups. Let me start one by one, and I don't want to pay attention to pay much of your attention to the screenshots. These screenshots just prove these statements. And Roman Soups wrote, 1209, a closer look at Contic-Wilcott's response to motion to dismiss by John Burda and Greg McCabe. Wilcott says he's met the pleading standards and starts to outline how. He said defendants Burda and McCabe had central roles in a fraudulent scheme that harmed approximately 65,000 investors. Wilcott says NBH's reply to this lawsuit underscores the interconnected nature of these defendants' misconduct. Burda and McCabe, including NBH's admissions of valuation errors and deficient disclosures that implicate Burda and McCabe. Wilcott says Burda and McCabe are making an attempt to evade accountability for their roles in a sophisticated securities fraud scheme that devastated plaintiff and tens of thousands of investors. He says Burda orchestrated misrepresentations about TRCH asset valuations. Wilcott says McCabe perpetrated unauthorized trading, and FINRA's U3 halt says the halt locked plaintiff out of a short squeeze. My thoughts: the outrageous numbers for values of $100,000 to $200,000 a share seems silly. I think it takes away from the actual losses the plaintiff suffered. Too late to cancel order are orders that were never filled. It's like listing your shares on eBay for a high price. That doesn't mean anybody was there to pay that. Also, it's interesting, he seems to be using Twitter post as so-called evidence, with no source or affidavit to enter as evidence or show a source of authenticity. And this is, in my opinion, quite severe misrepresentation of data, and definitely we will know the results of this document within, I would say, a couple of weeks. Next one, reminder: I am not an attorney, publishing company, or try to share any legal advice. If you want legal advice, seek a licensed attorney. Mainly, I share these things and my observations for learning purposes and to get people's opinion in X spaces on Substown Square. This is odd. Wilcott says he applied his SEPI expertise in investigating complex fraud to buy TRCH and MMTLP. What? Unfortunately, he does not expand how his complex fraud expertise resulting in buying a stock which he appears to not want to be invested in. I am curious if his fraud expertise might have led him to be concerned about his investment. Over the years, he continued to invest more and more money into it. Great quote from John Burda. When Burda went on media campaign for MMTLP, one of John Burda's cornerstones of argument is MMTLP was not intended to be tradable. You could argue this various ways. Most importantly, from what I can tell and others have seen, Torchlight, when they issued preferred shares, did not take necessary steps to make it non-tradable. In fact, they took steps to make it tradable using a 3A10 exemption. Wilcott explains FINRA provided a ticker for MMTLP by approving outdated TRCH data without verifying its not trading intent. I think this is a common misunderstanding how getting a stock ticker works. FINRA provides a detailed explanation in their FAQ about how getting an OTC ticker works and the steps taken. Unfortunately, FINRA and OTC markets do not name who the entity is that got the ticker assigned and started trading. They do not name GTS. That seems to be a community-sourced information that seems to have limited basis in fact, more speculations. Wilcott makes some allegations that seem to be brought out in thin air or sourced from stock promoters alleging naked short selling. I will see if I can find his source. He writes, GTS, as the sole market maker, traded MMTLP on the OTC gray market from October the 7th of 2021, creating synthetic shares and enabling naked short selling, inflating prices during plaintiff's purchases. Well, quite interesting. For your information, some screenshots are from Second Amendment complaint docket 73 to show what allegations were made and other exhibits that relate to response to motion to dismiss. My thoughts: the so-called out-of-date information was on OTC Markets website. I don't think we have any good indications of why OTC Markets were using older Torchlight information on the MMTLP listing. Perhaps it was because the MMTLP was issued under Torchlight and MetaMaterials refused to update the information for its investors. Just a guess. I haven't seen this screenshot before. Docket 32-5 looks like a FOIA that somebody asked Schwab how many shares MMTLP were out short, and Schwab gave them the last reported short interest instead. When you have a self-directed account, brokers are notorious for giving not so reliable information. User asks the right questions, but Schwab employee probably didn't understand. Does this give rise to a FINRA complaint against the broker by the person? Doubtful when going self-directed. Brokers don't seem to be liable for giving you incorrect information. Nobody seems to go that route in complaints either. And he added this screenshot of the response. And to be honest, I also see this response for the first time. I'm still looking for proof GTS created synthetic shares and enabled naked short selling, inflating prices during plaintiff's purchases from Second Amendment complaint. MMTLP share count soft. Docket 32-1 cited here shows fault and very flawed logic of the MMTLP share count initiative. Fatal flaws. McCabe did not end with 19.6 million shares. He ended with approximately 12.7 million shares. Records indicate he sold 6.8 million, 34.7% of his position. Line for David aka Rich Healthcare, who is believed to have minimal or no shares. 4. Self-reported numbers that were never confirmed by official records. 5. Number based of 65,000 shareholders holding the average reported 6,719 shares. 65,000 shareholder number was for TRCH and MMAT merge 16 months earlier. And this is quite interesting information that we don't have 65,000 members in MMTLP community. Well, it is interesting. I see the problem. He used Russell's races share counts, which include, among other things, the line for David, who is believed to have minimal or no shares. Also, he did not factor in McCabe's selling. McCabe did not end with 19.6 million shares. He ended closer to 12.7 million shares. Also, who verified these share counts with the transfer agent or official records? Many a cheerleader on Twitter has been known to make up multi-million-dollar photoshops of their big holdings, as well as who audited the code or process to make sure it counted shares right. Russ Race MIA again. I found the TD Ameritrade email. Does it say what he says it does? Nope. Let's see what it actually says. And guys, I have to admit that Roman Supes in this investigation pretty much destroys, on the one hand, he destroys the at least several statements from Contic-Wilcott lawsuit, recent update in the lawsuit. But on the other hand, guys, he shows how Contic-Wilcott can improve his position, and he shows what to do and how to do. And to be honest, guys, if you use this type of critics with step-by-step, let's say, path to solution, definitely it helps everyone in MMTLP community to make the position stronger. That is why, guys, I think it is very important to see this type of help from other community members to push the case forward. And in my opinion, it is extremely important to understand. So I think that's all information that I want to provide you. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel with notification bell, and see you guys and girls next time. Bye.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gone live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, doing no cap. Only God wants you.